Trump is a mission in Grand Theft Auto 5, given to protagonist Franklin Clinton by Lamar Davis. Lamar's dog Chop makes his first appearance in this mission. In the mission, Chop helps Franklin track down and kidnap a Ballas member called D. Franklin returns to his house and overhears his aunt and her friend going out for a jog. Soon after Lamar and Chop show up, Lamar tells Franklin to come along to pick up some shit from around the corner. Franklin asks why they can't drive instead, but Lamar insists that they walk as it's not far. The three get in Lamar's van parked at the destination and Lamar tells Franklin to drive to Vinewood Boulevard. After they reach their destination, they walk into an alley where they find Dee chatting with a woman. Before being spotted, Franklin and Lamar both cover their faces with green bandanas. Dee notices them, and a hostile conversation initiates. Lamar finally pulls out his pistol and aims it at Dee, who responds by taking off on his motorcycle, almost hitting the two in the process. Franklin and Lamar quickly get back into Lamar's van and start chasing after Dee. Franklin is doubtful about catching up with the speeding motorcyclist. After chasing through the cement alley, Dee is hit by a bus, throwing him off the bike. He then runs off through a city bus terminal. Franklin and Chop jump off the van and the chase ensues on foot. The chase continues into a rail yard. Franklin loses the trail and the player is prompted to take control of Chop to sniff out Dee during the search. Chop suddenly runs off across a nearby street after having spotted another male dog of the same size. Chop begins humping the other dog, much to Franklin's chagrin. Eventually, the two continue their search and find Dee hiding inside a boxcar. Dee jumps out and runs off again, but Franklin sends Chop after him. After a short chase, Chop manages to bite Dee, forcing him to the ground. Franklin apprehends Dee and Lamar arrives with the van. After being forced into the van, Dee recognizes Lamar by his voice, the back of his head and the van's license plate treating his own name. Franklin takes the driver's seat, and they drive back towards Lamar's house. During the ride, there is a brief conversation about Dee remembering Lamar and Franklin from when they were younger, and Lamar makes a ransom call to the Ballas from his cell phone and demands $40,000 for Dee. Franklin tells Lamar that the Ballas and the LSPD will be able to trace the cell phone and will know where they are now. Franklin tosses the phone out of the van and forces Lamar to let Dee go. Franklin then drives to the B.J. Smith Recreational Center to drop off Lamar and Chop. If the player hasn't received a message after repossession, Lamar will text Franklin that he got a new cell phone and that Stretch will be coming out of prison soon. Later, Lamar will call Franklin letting him know that Chop will stay at Franklin's house.